Welcome to Cooking with Her, but today we're going straight up north to learn one recipe which is called Jorjor, which is peanut butter stew or soup, which actually has vegetables in there. Usually they use the green leaves, or you can like replace it with cabbage if you don't actually have that available to you. And I really enjoy this with the cabbage. So to make this, you obviously need pepper, you need your garlic, you need your ginger, you need onions, tomatoes, and your leafy vegetables. And we fortify this with turkey berries as well. I keep telling you that these days, whatever you're eating, you need to make sure that the nutrients are in. Like, there's so much nutrition in there for you. So you're going to blend the vegetables, and then for your cabbage, you're going to obviously have to cut it. It's dependent on you. You can cut it into very fine pieces, or you can have it big and chunky. I like vegetables that like you can chew a bit on, because that actually makes you feel full early without you eating so much. If it's too smooth, you end up eating so much of a quantity, which like it doesn't help them. Some of us who are trying to actually maintain or check our portions and weight. So you're going to blend the other vegetables in there. So yes, this is a fancy, my friend would say fancy dagari. This is a fancy dagari move. So you start with your peanut butter, which goes to the fire, and then you're going to actually be cooking this. And look at how beautiful this is actually cooked. This is one of the simplest things to do with your groundnut paste for my Southerners. So you're going to be cooking this little by little with water in there. Now let me give a good shout out to Miss Elizabeth Kwenu. Yes, mommy. Yes, she actually taught me this recipe and she helped me make it. I was like, well, since she's an expert, she should do for us to also see and learn as well. So for this one, I was assistant, how do I call it, sous chef. Yes, I was assistant chef in here. So we actually fried the groundnut till it was well done. Then we added the blended things in there, the vegetables into it, which we also mixed together. Then we allowed it to actually cook. Yes, so this has to also cook very well before you actually continue the process. As it's cooking, you'd obviously have to be stirring alongside. Don't forget that groundnuts can be groundnuts. So once you see it bubbling very well, like a poppy, it's smelling good and all those ones, you then have to flake in your fish into it. I'm told in the typical northern areas, usually, I think ideally they used to use a fish powder, but I'm a fancy girl, at least if I'm trying it. I mean, I like to chew fish a bit, so we used the dried baby ajene. Yes, any dried fish you have, that goes in. You can't make a northern dish without Dawadawa. That is a disrespect in there. So we added in some Dawadawa, which is going to be like our major spice. There's no additional spices or anything in there, which is very healthy and nutritious. And you can see the oil actually settling on top of the groundnut, and you can see it bubbling all through in there. For groundnuts, what matters is your oil. If you're seeing your oil and stuff, that means that your groundnut is actually there cooking. And I think this is easier to do than even groundnut soup. Yes, so this is really very easy to do. At that point where the oil has formed very well, your vegetables go in. So we added in some chopped onions as well. That also helps with the fragrance and then the taste as well. And this is the point where you then increase the volume of it. So if you want it very thick, you have to add in water, but not so much. If you want it very like soupy, like very drainy, you can add more water. Then we also added a bit of shrimp powder, which Nigerians call crayfish. You also place that in there and added some extra water and allowed it to boil. So this is where you actually turn it into your soup, or depending on how thick you'd want it. Then we added in salt as well to also taste. Don't forget that since we started, there was no salt, which was actually what added in there. Then you just let this actually come to a boil and cook up perfectly. So like I said, this is easier to make than groundnut soup, because groundnut soup takes more time, takes more energy, but this is way simple. And this tastes very sweet because of you can feel the groundnutness in there. It tastes very sweet, and because of spice and stuff, it's also nice. And the vegetables in also like adds a whole different twist in it, so it gives it texture. It also adds to the nutritious benefits of it. And for those who are dieting or trying to check they are eating, this is one healthy alternative, because for this you're getting your groundnuts, which is giving you proteins, your legume. Yes, you're also getting your, how to call it, vegetables, which are also adding to your vitamins and your minerals. You also have your fish in there. And a typical Southerner may want more meat and things in there. I think now, even in the north, some people, you know, kind of add meat and stuff to it. So if you want meat, you can obviously steam your meat or your proteins and add it to it. Any proteins of your type can go in. And I add this with millet TZ or millet banku or millet swallow, how you want to call it, depending on the part of the world you find yourself. And yes, once this cools down, obviously it's going to thicken up. So if you want it very runny, you can add in more water as well. And this is your beautiful Jorjor with your millet TZ, which is super creamy, super healthy. Do check out my millet TZ recipe as well and learn how to make this soft malleable you know, TZ recipe, which is super awesome. Till I see you in the next food video, of course, please support us, subscribe, like, share the knowledge, share the wisdom, share the education with someone else, and live life to the fullest. Be joyous, be merry. Lots of love to you. Mwah.